Some of you may ask the question, what is the Orange Mound to Africa initiative? Only if you understand the history and the significance of Orange Mound can you understand our Orange Mound to Africa initiative. 25 years after the 13th Amendment that freed African Americans from slavery, the first neighborhood in America built for African Americans by African Americans emerged in 1890. Orange Mound today is reminiscent of the movie Color Purple, where Mr. Tosili, you're poor, you're black, and you're ugly, and Celia replied, I'm poor, black, I might even be ugly, but dear God, I'm here. After 128 years, we are still here. Some of us in Orange Mound are poor, most of us are black, and many today call Orange Mound ugly, but dear God, we are here. 73 years later, after Orange Mound was established, on August 28, 1963, people in America and around the world heard a young preacher tell the world about a dream he had. On April 4th, 1968, 78 years after the establishment of Orange Mound, that young man got killed in Memphis 50 years ago. On November the 4th, 2008, a young man became the first African American president of the United States, saying, yes, we can. That young man wrote about the dreams of his father, and he wrote about the audacity of hope. The spirit of yes, we can, the dreams of a father, and the audacity of hope comes back and is interrelated to Orange Mound. It was on May 13th, 1959, where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and the SCLC was hosting an African Freedom Dinner for the African named Tom Mboya. Dr. King said on this day, quote, our struggle is not an isolated struggle, King insisted. We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality. Before Dr. King told the world about a dream he had, or Barack Obama told us about the dreams of his father, or the audacity of hope, or him saying, yes, we can. African Americans in Orange Mound had built the first community in America for blacks by blacks. We in Orange Mound have a dream, and we have the audacity of hope. We in Orange Mound who carry the history of building the first community for blacks by blacks, we build on the first community of humanity and the world via our picking up the gauntlet of Dr. King and taking that gauntlet to Africa. From Orange Mound, we have a dream. Yes, we can, and we have the hope of audacity. In 1953, an organization was formed in America called ACOR, or American Committee on Africa. The group's mission was to fight for the liberation of Africa. In 1956, ACOR sponsored a 26-year-old African to come from a place called British East Africa that later became known as Kenya. This young man's name was Tom Mboya. Tom Mboya is the most influential African to impact American culture, history, and politics than any African in history. Without an Mboya, there would never have been an Obama. The Orange Mound to Africa initiative notes, Orange Mound as the first community in America to acknowledge the work of Tom Mboya and its significance and contribution to American culture, history, and politics. Noting that Tom Mboya is the most significant African and American history, and Dr. Martin Luther King is the most significant African and American history, the Orange Mound to African Initiative notes, we in Orange Mound, we propose not only the Tom Mboya Dr. Martin Luther King Culture and Educational Center to be built in Nairobi, Kenya, we propose the idea of a homecoming celebration in Nairobi, Kenya 3 years from now in 2021, whereas African Americans are honored for the first time in history with a family celebration via Kenya, honoring its African family with a formal state reception, while President Barack Obama Jr., whose father is from Kenya, was honored by Kenya via a formal state reception. We African Americans we Africans in America, known as African Americans, are no less family to Africa than President Barack Obama Jr. While Kenya is the birthplace of humanity, the Orange Mound to Africa initiative promotes the idea that while Kenya is the birthplace of humanity and the world can join us via a celebration, a upcoming celebration in Memphis. The Orange Mound to Africa Initiative celebration is scheduled July 14th, 2018 in Orange Mound at 1035 Semmes Street. This cultural celebration coincides and is coordinated with President Obama's upcoming trip to Kenya, July 2018. He will be there the 15th and 16th. Obama's delegation is made up of renowned professionals, celebrities, philanthropists, clergymen, activists, top lawyers, businessmen, and diplomats. The most noted celebrity in Obama's entourage will be Oprah Winfrey. They will visit Obama's father's hometown of Kogelo, Kenya. The kickoff is called the Sauti Kuu initiative. Sauti Kuu, it's a Swahili for strong voices, is a foundation that seeks to provide an outlook for the future children around the world. We in Orange Mound not only celebrate with President Obama and Oprah Winfrey, we bring a strong voice from Memphis, Tennessee, and a hope of change. This is the Orange Mound to Africa Initiative.